our look into the Ratchet & Clank series history of censorship is going to be a bit different from most of our other videos. Whilst there's been a huge amount of changes over the years, this hasn't been made to the usual parts of games targeted for censorship. This video will be taking a look at the game's different names across the world, particularly the Power Region's tendency to remove any sexual innuendos from the game's titles, and then later even in the US. This censorship began with the second game, named Commando in America. The title had to be renamed to Locked and Loaded in most Power Regions for obvious reasons. As for a non-censorship difference coming at you from Japan, check out the difference in this Japanese box art. Whilst we won't be going into all of the Japanese redesigns, this pretty interesting change has happened to multiple titles in the series for the Japanese region. Next up is Up Your Arsenal, which was renamed to simply Ratchet & Clank 3 in Europe, but this time not in Australia. Full Frontal Assault, on the other hand, was changed to QForce in all Power Regions. At this point, the devs have started to ease off the tongue-in-cheek names, due to a combination of self-censorship as well as pressure from Sony. For example, A Crack in Time was originally planned to be called Clock Blockers, but Sony wouldn't allow them to. Into the Nexus was also going to be called something very different, with the team using the working title of Into the Nether regions, although they have said they eventually decided to settle on the family-friendly version. All for One actually had many alternate titles, one of these being the fairly obvious choice of Foreplay, as well as names such as Multiple Organisms, Bros Before Foes, and Friends with Benefits. Insomniac has explained the decision to not use the innuendo-filled names, as not wanting to scare off parents who might be buying the game for their kid, although All But Foreplay would thankfully finally make an appearance in the later comic book series. Now, you may have noticed that we've missed out on one fairly naughty title. Ratchet & Clank Size Matters was somehow not only called this in the US, but this time was also left with its original name outside of America.